5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Following a tragic story out of Jefferson County where police say a mother killed her 2 young children before turning herself in to police. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Ann Allred in for Mike Bush. We just learned the victims are a 9-year-old girl and a 2-year-old boy. Police say the older child was found shot in a car outside the Festus Police Department. The toddler was found drowned at Timber Creek Resort in DeSoto. Our Megan Kernan is live from Festus Police Department with new details. We just heard from the sheriff not long ago. Megan.
Anna and Kelly, that's right. We just learned less than an hour ago that the mother is 36 years old. Both of the victims are under 10 years old, a 9 and a 2-year-old. Around 10:30 this morning, police say the woman showed up with soaking wet clothes onto the parking lot here at the Festus Police Department and confessed to shooting one of her children and drowning another. Officers immediately ran to the car where they found a 9-year-old girl who had been shot and killed. Officials recovered a firearm from the car. Jefferson County Sheriff Dave Marshak says they believe the child was shot in St. Francis County in the 9000 block of Highway E in Bonne Terre. Marshak says they believe the woman shot the 9-year-old before drowning a 2-year-old boy in a fountain in front of Timber Creek Resort in DeSoto. When officers arrived at the resort, they attempted life-saving measures, but the child was pronounced deceased. Marshak could not confirm if the woman was staying at the resort or not, but the woman is a part of the Festus community. Officials are not releasing the names of the victims until the rest of their family has been notified. Marshak asked for prayers for this family and the first responders who tried to help save these 2 kids.
We take their well-being very seriously. The Sheriff's Office immediately dispatched our mental health and crisis response team, along with chaplains, to both support those officers and all the other first responders that were negatively impacted by this and will continue for some time. I spoke with one of the officers guarding the crime scene out here earlier, and he said, "Sheriff, this was a tough one."
Now, the woman was arrested and is being held at Jefferson County Jail. Right now, we still don't know a motive. We asked if there was any history of abuse there. While they couldn't answer that question directly, investigators did say that both of the children were well and accounted for last night and early this morning. Live in Festus, Megan Kernan, 5 on your side.
Tonight, many people are busy filing claims after another round of storms caused damage around the bi-state. Here's a look at damage left behind in South St. Louis County after an EF1 tornado hit the area on Sunday. But before you file an insurance claim on your home, there are a few things you need to consider.
Holden Kerwicki is live in Melville tonight. He spoke with experts at the Better Business Bureau and also the Missouri Department of Insurance today with ways that you can save money. Holden.
Well, that's exactly right, Kelly. And after a big storm like we had over the weekend, most of our initial reaction is to get a contractor out to our house and get that house fixed as quickly as possible. But according to the experts that I spoke with this afternoon, that can actually end up costing you more money and maybe give you a bigger headache in the long run. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do if your home is damaged by the storms is experts say you should take pictures of the damage and then call a contractor and get an estimate on how much damage was done to your house and consider if it's cheaper to fix it out of pocket. If that amount is more than your insurance deductible, then you should file a claim and get at least 3 bids in writing before comparing them and deciding which contractor to go with. However, before you file a claim, you need to keep in mind that your premiums will more than likely go up and your insurance company can cancel your policy after repeated claims.
Claims is one of the large factors that an insurance company can utilize when determining your insurability. And so if you do have frequent claim history or large claim history, insurance companies can take that into account.
According to the Better Business Bureau, fly-by-night contractors are a major issue all across the St. Louis area after these big storms. Coming up at 6 o'clock, hear what the Missouri Department of Insurance is doing to try and help you process your claim. Reporting live in South County, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
Tonight we get an inside look of the largest building donation in Urban League history. The $25 million center was donated by Centene.
Our Justina Cornell took a tour of the 60,000 square foot space in Ferguson and joins us live in the newsroom. Justina.
Well, the space donated is 8.5 acres in the heart of North St. Louis County. Now, this facility has 3 buildings and the main center has 3 floors. This space will be a regional command center for its food operations and hold all of its partnerships and programs. It also has a kitchen, which will focus on job training for the hospitality industry. And the second floor will be for their partners, and the third floor is dedicated for all of its programs. Each floor can house 125 employees. We also toured the daycare facility, which will turn into their Head Start space. And our last stop was the conference room, which can hold 150 people. Now, this new community center will open this summer, and the timing is crucial as Ferguson marks 10 years since Michael Brown's death in August.
Well, really, when you look at the 10-year anniversary of everything that took place in Ferguson, the eyes of the nation, and in some cases the world, will look upon St. Louis, Ferguson, and the entire, quite frankly, region and say, what did you do? This repurpose is one that will be something that I think we'll all be proud of as we come upon the 10-year anniversary.
The grand opening for the center will be at the end of July. I'm told this will be the Urban League's 4th facility in North St. Louis County.
Thank you, Justina. A Missouri appeals court said today that remote workers who live outside city limits and pay a 1% earnings tax are owed a refund.
But viewers have questions about how to claim the money. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is live in St. Louis with new details. It's a lot of money, Mark.
Yeah, and good evening. Remote workers had actually claimed this benefit or this refund for years, even before the pandemic. If you traveled for work or if you dialed in remotely before, you could claim that refund. Then the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden the city scrambled to change its forms, and it went away for people that had been claiming it for a long time. They sued, and now they've won, at least at this appellate court level. We went back to that collector of revenue's office today to see if those forms might be updated now. We're told the collector was out of the office. A consultant told us in a statement the collector is, quote, reviewing this decision and exploring many options to determine the best path forward. They may appeal to the Missouri Supreme Court. But for now, the appeals court says remote workers are owed a refund. So who might qualify? Well, typically, the collector of revenue's office only allows you to claim a refund for up to 1 calendar year. But this illegal practice was going on for the last 4 years. We asked the attorneys who brought this case what other people can do if they wish to claim a refund for that full 4-year period.
That was something we also tried to get clarity on early on in our case because there wasn't clear statutory guidance on what exactly is the statute of limitations on an earnings tax refund claim.
So it could be true that the city of St. Louis collected taxes they weren't entitled to for 3 years and they get to keep the money?
Well, that's a good question for the collector of revenue. I think we don't know how they're going to handle this going forward. If this is the law of the land, if they don't appeal or if they lose at the Supreme Court level, I think they're going to have a lot of answering to do in terms of what are you going to do with all those people who applied for the refunds. You kept them unlawfully per the court's decisions, and now you're just going to keep the money.
In other words, stay tuned. We could learn a lot more very soon about that process, if there is a new process to reclaim those funds going back 4 years. Both sides are waiting to see if the other might appeal to the Supreme Court. The earnings tax was quite popular with city voters, but now it may blow a $25.9 million hole in the city budget. That number, an estimate from the city's budget director. The mayor's office responding today to this ruling in a statement saying, quote, "We do not believe this will impact the current level of city services," a different tune than what the city was arguing in court. Live downtown, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
Closing arguments begin in former President Trump's hush money trial. The final case prosecutors and the defense are making to a jury. Man's best friend is one of life's best companions. Tonight, we share some ways to cope with the grief of saying goodbye.
Tracking some storms out there, but will they grow to be severe? I should have your answer next.